So, good morning, and I have given you a message today about the project. We have asked about how to start. I give it 5 days, right? 6 to do that. Yeah. So you guys can discuss something like then only I will be assigned the supervisors, right? Then after that, I will be giving you a 1 month of time to finalize discuss the proposal and finalize. Then you will have an initial presentation. Then after that, you need to submit the charter document. I will do that on the lecture on next Tuesday. Look at that. Oh. You guys have many people in the batch, right? I mean, like, because I mean, like, in the previous batches, I was not there actually because I was on study leave. I mean, like, initially we were the one who, I mean, like, formed into groups. After my group, but we do lectures, la. But there was so much of conflicts. That's why this time we are giving the freedom for you to group, right? So use it, I mean, like, use the freedom accordingly. Right. So today, actually, so object-oriented programming. So today, actually, we are learning about the object-oriented programming design and principles. So last week, even I have given you some group work, and it will be accordingly graded. You can assign that. And I have asked you to form into groups and present about double OOP concept. So actually, throughout this week and next week, you will be learning about the practical. Some of the theories related to that thing, and also the practical content using intermediate IDE Java. Right. So the idea is to like familiarize with this object-oriented concept using Java. I mean, like, I'm not gonna go. I mean, like, I will honestly, I mean, like, not do the programming lectures. So I will do the necessary context, and also I will. I'm also recording this lecture. So after that, in the forthcoming weeks, we will be learning about how to like object-oriented system modeling using the UML language. So you have to familiarize with UML diagrams, activity diagrams, class diagrams, and up to the level of state chart diagram. Like in the oriented system on this subject, you will be learning about structure, system analysis, and design. There, you will be familiarized with drawing this business requirement diagram, context diagram, data flow diagrams, kind of all sort of diagrams, right? But here it's different. You have to form with one language called UML, and then you have to define this activity diagrams, then activity diagrams, class diagrams, kind of sort of diagrams, right? So moving in. So I have given you the attendance sheet, right? So the objective of today's session is to understand the principles of object orientation and understand the advantages of object orientation. Please let me know. Make කියන එක දෙයක්වත් තේරෙන්නේ නැතුව because I'm actually using English language. If you can't understand, single තේරෙන්නේ. Yeah, I will try to explain and don't be hesitant about anything, right? What is object oriented? Right? Programming that combines data structures with functions and described using a simple program. So that is a diagram that I have actually taken from the internet. Programming that combines the data structure. So we are structuring the data, attributes and the methods. In a particular simple Java program or any other program using the data structure with the function and describe using a program, right? So last week I have asked you to some simple double exam. So you guys have come up with some systems related banking systems and also some system related to automobile industry, likewise that, right? So I told you the concept of classes and the objects. Let's say it is a class. Class acts as a blueprint that can create objects. If you take the shape as a class, then you can derive. Shape class. What are the objects that you can have? Object should have some attributes and also object do some functionalities. It should have some methods, right? So triangle, rectangle, circle, and any other form of shapes you can take as objects, right? Let's say we have another objects like the method, let's say we have different shapes are there. Alu shape easy because in the object orientation we can reuse the code and things we can just add it here. And then if you remember the inheritance concept that we have done in the group, you can inherit the properties of the shape class. That's the thing, right? So describe using a program. And why object oriented? Because structured development fails, right? Structured development. That means previously you may have learned about the waterfall model and various software development models, right? At that time, when we have this structure system analysis and design, the things that you will be learning with Dr. Ahan, that about defining the context diagrams and such kind of data diagrams, level 1 data diagram, level 2 data diagrams, we did only have waterfall model, right? So agile methodology, I think it came somewhat back in after the year 2000. So what happened is in the agile programming, it is actually more oriented with the object-oriented programming concept. Most of the software development companies nowadays in Sri Lanka, they are actually more or less they are adapting this agile methodology, and they might be using some object-oriented programming language. Either it's Java or it's some kind of C# or other kind of PHP is object-oriented programming language, kind of related languages. So structured programming, as I have told you, like procedural programming, we are only mostly using for this embedded programming task or like some low-level programming like microcontroller programming using C++, if I remember, yeah. So that thing. When it's come to object-oriented, so what happens is we have the concept of classes and the object. So nowadays, if we have a complex software development project, what happens is from time to time, our requirements may change. Our requirements change, you know. So if it is agile methodology, you know that agile methodology, initially you gather the requirements. Then you segment this requirement into developing a small part of the software. You call it, you are modularizing the requirements, and within a 2 weeks of time, you deliver the part of the software. Sorry, we call it for that particular 2 to 3 weeks of time is free, right? So what happened is after these 2 weeks, you showcase it to the client, and if the client is not happy, your requirements will be again changing, and you have the time to adjust your particular software, right? So after 2 weeks and another 2 weeks of time, and within the particular deadline of maybe like let's say it is 3 months of time, you will have a developed software product. So that is the simple concept of agile. So what happened is when we have this change in requirements, like the example, if we have a new object, if we can represent, there's a new entity we have from, and we want to adapt it to our program so that we can easily do with object-oriented programming compared to this procedural or structured development method. That's the thing. Structured development phase. Good development development concentrate on building the reusable domain specific component. So it is too clear about creating the component. So you will understand. So when I'm like showcasing my, some example using the JID. So we have integrated development environment, and in any case like let's say they will if our program has some errors, the error lines will be highlighted, and so many options are there, so that is easy to use. And also like if we have some inheritance, then whatever are the interfaces, abstract classes, and so many things, the IDE will itself, like an integrated development environment, it will automatically suggest that what to do, right? So we have many options today with this object-oriented programming. So object-oriented programming language, high-level programming language based on the object-oriented module, right? So you know when it's come to high level, so it's more into like the language itself is human understandable form, right? When you compare like some low-level language, let's say C or C++ that can be used for the microcontroller programming, compared to that, the syntax in the object-oriented programming language, either it is C# or Java, we can easily understand, right? High-level programming language based on the object-oriented model, the data structure becomes an object that includes both the data and the function. If you are working with Tamil, like if you are familiarized with some IDEs like Java with NetBeans development or C# with Visual Studio IDE, right? So there's they have pre-built components, right? They do have pre-built components. They can label text boxes, some buttons, and also some all sort of things, right? So labels and all the things are available. You can drag and drop that things into the application pane, and then what happens is part of the code is automatically generated. And you only have to go to the application window, double click this, and you need to write the logic, right? So in this object-oriented programming, we consider this label, text boxes, and other things as objects. So objects have attributes, and you can also invoke functions. So during the runtime, in the application execution time, if this particular button has attribute called color, maybe like color, background color. I mean, like during the execution, right? If we write some customized code, we can change this thing because we are considering this as an object. Otherwise, let's say if it is some action, it can function or method. If we hover over this particular button again background color change right? So hover over කියන mouse එකකින් අර ඒක උඩ මේ අර cursor එක මෙතන අරගෙනකොට මේක highlight වෙන්න කියලා. So there is a function you can ignore in maybe C# or it means ideally like hover up or something like that, and within that particular method you can write the necessary logic, right? So that's the thing. It's called the event driven programming. Event driven programming. මොකක් හරි event එකක් කරනකොට write the logic, right? The data structure become an object that includes both data and the function. So that is an example for that. Programmers can create relationship between one object and another. So you will easily understand that when I'm actually talking about UML language. So example for this object-oriented languages, Java, C#, Java, C++, C#, Smalltalk. Smalltalk is one of the earliest OOP language, and PHP, the programming language, and such things, right? Any questions up to this point? Any questions? You guys have any questions up to here? Right. So actually, we in this particular module, because of the easiness, and we are learning about Java before going to the object-oriented system or using UML. Because Java is a high-level programming language. High-level programming language. So it's like we are so much familiar. I mean, we don't have to worry about the underlying whatever the machine code or something. It is easily understandable. That is the simple concept of high-level programming language, right? Developed by Sun Microsystems and initially released in 1995. So the thing is, you can basically run a Java program in every platform because it is possible with the help of this Java virtual machine. I will tell you the examples later. Java virtual machine is a versatile runtime environment that allows Java applications to run on virtually any platform. It is widely used for mobile applications like Android applications. I mean, like earlier we have the C++ and Java, and later we have this Kotlin, and now we have more sophisticated framework like Flutter. Mobile applications, particularly Android apps, desktop applications across various operating systems, and most of the like point of sale, supermarket, whatever the things are handled by this second POS, you call it point of sale systems, POS, run by either like the visual, it was developed using maybe like a Visual Basic, maybe like C# or otherwise Java. Desktop applications across various operating systems. Web application for dynamic and interactive online experiences like Java server pages, again JSP, likewise that. So the thing is Java virtual machine. So you know that when you have a programming language and when you initially hit the run button, and if you want to execute that, there are two ways that is happening, right? Compiler and compiling and the interpretation. So cut the compilation here. What does it mean by this compilation? What does it mean by the compilation? Anyone? So whatever the code that you will be writing, it will be eventually transformed into a machine code that processes for the compilation and the interpretation. What happens is in the code, line by line, the particular logic will be interpreted directly in the machine code. But what happened in the Java? Make a sarla matkarya in Java, when you compile the application, initially it will be compiled into a some intermediate form. අතරමැදි අවස්ථාවක් වෙනවා we call it Java bytecode. මම ආයෙ කියන්න ඒක මේක පොත මේ because the main intention is not to learn Java, so it becomes bytecode. Right? ඒක bytecode එක වෙනවා. Then with the help of this Java virtual machine and the Java runtime environment, underneath Java runtime environment, that bytecode will be eventually transformed into the machine code. So that machines can understand. Maybe it is a machine, desktop computer, laptop computer, like a Raspberry Pi device. That's the thing. One such example, if I tell you about that, you guys are also familiar with when you are installing the Android applications. When you are running Android applications in the Android architecture, they have a virtual machine called, if I pronounce that name correctly, some Dalvik, or correct me if I'm wrong, Dalvik virtual machine. So that actually similar to the Java virtual machine. So that means like if you develop an Android application using Kotlin, I mean like Flutter here, then you have some Java part also. If you do that with any Android operating system, you can run that application. That's the thing, right? So that basically Linux, if it is a Raspberry Pi operating system, they do have this Java virtual machines, right? So that's the thing. I mean, like otherwise, if it is not there, you can easily install that. Then you can run Java applications. That's the thing, right? Any questions up to this point? Yes. Why Java? Right? Java works on different platforms, right? As I have already told you. Windows, Mac operating system, and Linux, Raspberry Pi. Because of this Java virtual machines, you can have it works on all sort of platform. It is one of the most popular programming languages in the world, right? Compared to all other languages, so compared to we have so much of languages. So if you become a Java programmer, that means like it is a Java-based software engineer, it's like a highly paid job. And on the other hand, Java is a free and open source language. And free and open source. On the other hand, when it comes to the major competitive languages like C#, Java is actually not that much secure compared to the C#, right? There are some loopholes in the Java language, so that is some extra information. So, but it is one of the most popular programming language in the world. It is easy to learn and simple. It is open source and free. It is secure, fast, and powerful. And it has a huge community support. And there are, because there are like even in this Stack Overflow or some other developer forum, there are so many developers are there. Like it's community. You ask them questions, they must give you the answers, right? And Java is an object-oriented language which gives a clear structured programs and allows code to be reused, lowering the development cost. Because we can use that code reusability, and we can add any component when the requirements are changing. So that will lower the development cost, and that is so easy to do. As Java is close with C++ and C#, it makes it easy for programmers to switch between switch to Java and vice versa. If you familiarize with Java, you can easily move into developing other languages like C#. I was actually not initially Java developer because but once I graduated, the job I received was because of .NET framework C#. So it was so easy for me to move into the that side. Right. Any questions? Any questions up to this point? Right. Why Java? It is more effective way of producing the software. And software needs to be flexible. The old structures may not work. Just begin with reusability and maintainability. I mean, like the same example. I mean, like if you have new class or a new object or something, if you found that, you can easily reuse it code and maintainability. When you are, I mean, like you have already deployed the software and the server, but if you found a new class, so the class requirement change into another object. So you can easily do that with this object-oriented programming concept if you use Java. That's the idea about this object-oriented programming. So advantages, WP provides a clear structure to the programs, right? All the builds are like according to the classes and objects. And it helps to keep the Java code dry, that means don't repeat yourself, and makes the code easier to maintain, modify, and debug. Makes the code easier to maintain. That means that because of this the organization of classes, Java, and the instant variable and methods separately, you can, it is very easier to maintain and modify. Also, debugging. I mean, it is very easy to debug the application. Again, you have the element of runtime, so that you can easily identify where is that error is coming. And object-oriented, I mean, like make it possible to create a full reusable application with less code and shorter development time. Shorter development time. So let's say a particular organization have developed and already developed a software, right? So there was a development team. Right? And after a few times, I mean, like once they have developed the software, so the people, I mean, like the main software engineer or the architect who actually handled that particular team, he resigned, maybe he resigned or he migrated from the country, right? So what happened is, the new developer, there's a new developer and it comes, and because, I mean, like this particular software, when it's come to the source code of the software, you have separate class files and separate files that contain the main methods, and easy program is easy to understand. And let's say if we want to make some new modification without modifying the old code, so there might be classes and there might be code creating some objects. So we can easily understand that particular part of the code without, I mean, like modifying the large segment of code. We can change that, right? So with less code and shorter development time. A code because code is organized into some classes, packages, and also from that you create the logic to create the object. So it's like nicely organized and it is easy to understand. And if you, I mean, like if you don't have, I mean, like the basic background about what that will do, easily you can go through the code and understand. Better may object class may object class so you can go to this particular class file in this folder, so you can easily understand everything, and that will make the application reusable in any time, right? Right. Any questions up to this point? Any questions? So yeah, we have already learned about this thing. What are classes and objects? Classes and objects are two main aspects of the object-oriented programming. Look at the following illustration to see the difference between classes and the objects. So basically, class, if it is a class, there are many objects that you can take a noun, right? Apple, banana, mango, avocado, and so many things are there, right? So that is the basic concept of object and the classes. Have you understand this thing? Make a basic thing in terms of object-oriented programming in Java. Any questions regarding this thing? Any questions? The class, the most basic concept, define the structure and the behavior of the particular variety of object, right? Where class object if you take the banana and the term for group and class එක define කරනවා. What is the most basic thing that that particular banana has? Again, there is just have a weight. That is the thing. An object must be an instance of one class, right? A class may have many instant objects. Again, object. They can have millions of objects, right? It's indefinite, right? That doesn't have a limit, right? You can get many objects as much as you want. That's the thing. Then that's the norm. Everything is OOP is associated with classes and objects along with its attributes and methods. For example, in real life, a car is an object. The car has an attributes such as weight and color and methods such as drive and brake, right? That is attributes and the methods. Right. Define the structure and the behavior of a particular variety of object. That is actually done by this part, right? Remember this particular notation. So it's not a formal notation. When you have a class, you can have a name. Class name can be known, right? Class can have some variables, right? Instant variable definitions, and class itself can contain some methods, right? That's the thing. From that class, we can derive the objects. So maybe like there might be some inheritance, polymorphism, and also abstraction interface concept. So that is later, but initially when you are defining a class, remember this notification. Class can have some instant variables, and class can have some method definitions, like if it is some kind of fruit, they can have a color, weights, or such thing. And in terms of methods, like a fruit, whether it's edible or not, right? Likewise, that method definitions. And when it's come to object, remember. All right. So before that, I'm going to explain this thing. And object is a runtime value that stores the state and the belonging of a class, represent an entity, and has an identity. Encapsulate data as it should be at its state as the main. Performs operation when requested, has a private internal representation instead of it, right? So if it is a class, right? Class you can see like my class.java. You are given a name, and basically when you want to run the Java file initially, there are things that you can do, but actually in this particular lecture, we are familiarizing with IntelliJ and Java standard development kit, right? So when you have a Java file, normally, then your initial class, it should, it should be the name that you are saving your Java file. My class will Java file, save, right? That's the thing that you need to remember. And apart from that, because actually we are not using any notepad or some basic version of things, we are just familiarizing with the IntelliJ IDE and the Java development kit. So yeah, I'm going to showcase you example. So in the LMS, I have highlighted 2 links, right? LMS ke right. I have highlighted today's lecture and also the required software to run Java. So most of the practicals, it will be done by instructor. I'm just giving the basic information only. You need to download this IntelliJ IDE Community Edition, Java SE development kit. The latest version is the 23, I think. I mean, it's called the number 23. So this link will be automatically redirected to that place. So what happened is, what you need to do is initially download this Java development kit, right? And install that. You don't have to, I mean, like just give yes and yes. And after that, upon installing this thing, install the IntelliJ IDE, and it won't ask you any pop-up or something like that. No, it will be once the Java is automatically installed, this will be getting the Java development kit automatically, so you don't have to worry about any of the things, right? So, any questions up to this point? May they install කරගන්න මුලින්ම stand Java development kit එක download කරගන්න, and after that IDE එක download කරගන්න, and then you can work with Java, right? That's the thing. Any questions? Any questions up to here? Okay. Because in the Java program, when you are actually running the application, you have to have a file. Of your objects and the file, and then we are not making any files for objects. So we are creating a runtime. That's the thing. So object is a runtime variable. Any other things? Here that the single area. You have asked the questions last. Thank you. All right. So, trusted yeah. So the thing is, I'm just giving the overview of Java programming only, right? So because I think you have an application that you need to learn some developing concept from there. So I'll be teaching you about object-oriented programming, object-oriented system modeling using UML. That's the idea. And before learning this, we need to have the Java background, right? Partially, then right. So now I have already installed this IntelliJ IDE. So it's actually here. Right, to create a new project, you have to go to File. The time now. So you need to give a project name 01 or something like that, and the location that you are saving, and also you have something known as creating a Git repository. So I'm not doing that. Build system. That's the one thing that you need to know. So previously, I have installed I asked you to install the Java development environment. Right? So this thing automatically, you don't have to worry about anything. When we are learning Java, when I was an undergraduate back in 2016 or 2017, so after the Java, you have developed Terminal, you have downloaded the Java, then you need to go to the system variables and change the Java path, the variable, then we open the notepad. Other things have so much changed up so much by now, right? So we will be automatically developing the Java development kit environmental part, but that's one thing. Build system, right? There's something known as build system, IntelliJ, and you have Maven and something known as Gradle. So what does it mean by this build system? Build system and what is the option that we have to choose? Before creating the project. Does anyone familiar with machine learning, deploying machine learning to production or anything like that? Machine learning or because of the regular. I look at you guys at best case, so I'm just asking. Anyone? Right. So when you are deploying terminal, what is the file terminal that you want to have? What is terminal when you want to develop the machine learning model in the production? What kind of the output file to take for extension? What is the output file extension? It is something more beyond machine learning. So if you are in the machine learning and if you are making a production file of that, right? So machine learning model prompt recommendation platform. You have a data set and you have some initial version of machine learning algorithm. So what happens is when you train the model, you choose the highest performing algorithm and eventually that particular algorithm you have dumped it as .h file. Whenever Python there's a library called Python pickle like that. So that is called deploy the application. When you want to develop the deploy that particular application, if it is Java, a Java file or if it is an Android application, so you need to have some kind of file. Again, if it is an Android deploy කරන file එක තමයි අපිට එක file එකක්. දැන් අපි හිතන්නකෝ මෙතන you can have a code you have many places that you have the source code, but eventually when you are making it the production product software development project ඉවර වුණාට පස්සේ client එක බාර දෙන්නේ like there could be database part or something like that. But if it is a Java, you can get a Java file, right? If it is an Android, it will have the APK file. Like once we have completed development of the Android application, to the Play Store that we are actually uploading, uploading only a normal file called .apk file, right? APK file එක තමයි අපි හැමෝම download කරගන්න Play Store එකට ගිහලා, right? So when you are making like a Java application build system, Android they have we have IntelliJ. I'm not familiarized with that. I assume it is something belonging to this particular IDE. And Marvin, it is the earlier version of build system. That means this particular build system, it will automate building this particular software. Again, eventually, after Java file, so that will be all the things, all the dependencies. You can after so that will be automatically handled by this Marvin, Gradle, and IntelliJ build system, and if there are any errors, it will actually gives you the it will notify you before you deploy your final application before giving you the final output file, right? That is the responsibility of this build system in very simple words. So for that I'm using Marvin, one of the earliest version of build system, and I am not adding any sample code, right? Create. Any questions? No, I don't know what to be able but it was there. No, I don't know. Right. So that is how you basically create a simple Java project, right? In the IntelliJ IDE. Right. Have you guys understood up to this point? So if you want to make a class file, I'm going to showcase you a simple example. So normally here, if I choose the option add the sample code, a sample code that will get whether SRC source code, SRC refers source code, SRC main Java, and then right? So because I didn't choose that option, I'm gonna go here. मैं Java folder click करला, new Java class. So what was the example here? My class. So this is the basic definition of defining a class in IntelliJ IDE and Java, right? And I can have maybe like as I have told it, a class we can have attributes and the method. That means attributes they become variables. After attributes become variables, that means we also call it instance variable, right? So here I'm going to define a variable. Something like that. And I'm not defining the method like in the slide. So that's the basic version of defining the class in Java. Right. So creating a class and then right object. An object is a runtime value that is not the state and belonging to some class. So mama had pass to the right, but you can see when I'm doing the next example. So object, I'm going to have an object with a but actually the object is created when I hit the run button only. Run button click the run button object. So that is so it's a runtime value. In the runtime value, that means that a class variables method you can access using this object, right? Object, yeah. Represent an entity. Entity. අපි entity එකක් කියන මොකක් කරේ ඉක්ක නමක් දීලා පුද්ගලයෙක්ට මොකක් කරේ එක දෙයකට right? If it is a group එකක නම් බලතුරක් පාස්වර්ඩ් එකක් මොකක් කරේ ඒක. මේ හැම උදාහරණයක් දෙකක් අපි කියන්නේ නැහැ බානාන මේක තමයි අරක බලතුරක් එහෙම කියලා අර එක්සල් එහෙම කියන්නේ ඇත්තම සිංහලෙන් කිව්වොත් කියන්නේ right? That's the normal basic thing. Represent an entity. ඒ කියන්නේ අපිට කියන්න පුළුවන් even with the class is maybe like a fruit, but if it is entity, it should be banana, maybe like some other avocado, likewise, that has an identity. They can make a right? Encapsulate data at sorry, they can add the node at it state. Encapsulation. Did I ask you to do encapsulation in last week? So encapsulation. How do I explain that? Let's say you have some kind of a car, right? So you are the driver and you are the owner of the car, right? So car does have an engine, and engine it's an inline engine, and does have some four cylinders, and also it does have a petrol pump, water pump for the circulating the coolant throughout the engine. So much of options are there, right? You can engine you guys are ICTs, you guys don't know about anything. You are only dealing with the car gas pedal and brake and maybe like you have that and the wiper. I mean like to operate that wiper you have the you have the lever kind of thing. That's the thing that you are dealing with, right? So and inside this car, you don't know about what is the what is the internal working? Normally, car that's the thing, right? So encapsulate data. That means in this same scenario, but you are only dealing with pressing the gas pedal and also applying the brake and doing the necessary thing. That means in the encapsulation, what happened is actually object actually hides the internal working of a particular, it will hide the internal working of a particular attributes through the object, right? Make an example again. There is an interface like gas pedal that we have to deal with. We have some instant variable inside this particular class, and when you are creating the object create if we are defining that instance variable as private, I will showcase the example, practical example later. That means that we have to deal with the some methods to get that particular data. How do you get make example like gas pipe give me 1 second. So you only have to deal with this particular external thing only. So, like engine you have to go through some mechanical, that is the thing. So that is a simple example for encapsulation. Hiding the internal, internal workings. It can attribute, maybe like it could be some methods probability attribute of the methods at it states and propose the operation when it is equated. So if you have proposed some operations, you have to use the public interface again. Public interface means like a car example like the gas panels and then necessarily whatever the other operating equipment, right? Perform the operation when requested has a private internal representation if you are using encapsulation and one instant is equal to an object. And remember this particular object notations, right? Object should have an ID. When you are going to class diagram, object should have a state and object should have a method. Remember this notation, right? Any questions up to this point? මෙතෙන්ට වෙනකම් ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවද? Any questions up to this point? මෙතෙන්ට වෙනකම් ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවද සරලව? Right. So creating the object, the same example I have showcased to you. Now I have created a class. Right. So in order to execute this particular Java, I mean like whatever the thing, I need to have a main method. In C program, sorry, C, I don't know, remember it is C or C++. So whatever the thing you have, I mean like initially, you need to call to the main method, right? So what is it? All right. Can it be seen now? Right. So this is the basic example in Java programming for the object orientation. You have a class and I have created the object. Right? Sorry, this thing should. You guys have a C, right? Not the C++, right? Right. If it is a C programming, if you want to know the first thing, I will like the method that you call it is a main method, right? So the Java they will have the main method. Public static void main. So static can keyword public can access modifier I will talk about that later. Void can unknown triggering anything and main can the main function, so main method and string arguments. That means that I'm passing some string arguments by default. You don't have to worry about that thing. They give them particular version on that, right? So I have a class there, my class. My class here, object when I'm creating that, remember Java is a case sensitive language. Have you guys learned about Pascal and camera case? Have you already learned that? Pascal camera case in dimensions when it comes to programming languages? Right, I assume it is not, so you guys can search on the internet. So when you are naming the variables, when you are defining the particular method, when you are defining the function name, when you are defining some class name, there's a naming convention you have to follow. So that thing is called the this fast camel case and yeah. Other thing I actually forgot, I have forgotten. So camel case and monkey view yeah, Pascal. That means that the first word it should be start with the capital. If it is a camel case, it should be simple. If I'm not mistaken, right? So then remember, there's a naming convention if you are defining variables and things in a programming language, right? So that is some extra information. So my class, කොහොමද my class කියන එකේ object එකක් මම runtime හදන්නේ. So he asked about runtime object creation. So my class as the example, object එකේ name එක තමයි you have to define when you are defining a particular object. My class start with the class that keyword and example that means that it could be any name, but you have to follow the naming convention. So I'm not going to explain about the naming convention here. And so the name I have given to the object is example and equal new. That means like you are creating a object create with that particular new keyword. And my class, and you have this parenthesis and the semicolon. So this is the particular keyword. This is the particular syntax for creating an object. Class name followed by this object name. Object name could be anything, remember, but follow the naming convention, and equal to new. That means like new keyword, and again the class name and parenthesis and end up with the semicolon, right? So basically, when you are executing your program, එතකොට compiler initial version of compiler hit this particular statement syntax එක hit වෙච්ච ගමන්ම object එක create වෙනවා. Right? That is the internal working. මේ line එකට වෙනකොට මේක execute වෙච්ච ගමන් so ආපු ගමන් object will be created. In the compilation what happens is මට අමතක කරලා කියන්න. So compiler එක code එක bulk එක විදිහට අරගෙන it will be compiling to the some machine code or some intermediate version, right? So this is the scenario of Java also. So system.out.println. මට මතක නැහැ in C programming if you want to print something to the display, what is the thing that you what is the syntax that you have to use? Print n, right? So here in Java you have to use system.out.println. ඒ කියන්නේ display එකට print කරන්න something, right? So I'm printing. So now here I have created an object. මේ object එකක් create කරාම පස්සේ class එකේ තියෙන I can access to the internal working of the class. So class currently only have one variable. A class එකක තියෙන one variable එකක්. So that means that if I followed this example තමයි object name එක. So example, and if you hit a dot එක follow කරපු ගමන් ඒ object එක sorry for that particular class, it will give you whatever the object things are like methods and attributes that you can access, right? X කියලා කෙනෙක්ම කියන්නේ integer variable එකක් that I have declared on the top, so I can access, and there are so much of things are there. Some methods, methods sorry. So that will be help you to do some event driven programming. මොකක් කරේ event එක වෙනස් කරන්න. Things like that, right? So X. And because we are in the IntelliJ IDE, so you have to here on the top, you have to choose this current file. And yeah, it is automatically selected. Hit the run button. Right, it will ask you run my class.java, and you can see that it is displaying the simple value, right? That's the basic Java program. So you will be doing that more detail in the code with practical. So up to this point, do you guys have any questions? Any questions up to this point? Any questions? Right. Right. Now we have created our first object. The thing is, with the same example that I have explained to you, you can create multiple objects. I told you there's no object, basically, you can create many objects, right? So last week I told you in the group work. So you can take any example apart from student management system. Let's say now we have replaced the code for some particular student management system using Java. So we have a lot of class files and so many things. So the objects are created at the runtime, right? So let's say if there are like maybe like 10,000 or like millions of students are there, that means like using that class file is source code negative, no? Class that base, I mean like we can basically during the runtime application we can create many type of objects, right? I mean, like, yeah, even we can, I mean, like, we can create this particular, I mean, like that, we can create many number of objects to represent each student. That's the thing, right? So here I have created one object, and here I have created another object, and I'm just printing the value. So it should print. It should be, this object is actually object value. My object can class के object के handle, but I'm retrieving this particular variable, variable value. So it will be because I define it as static or something like that. The value won't be changed. So it is printed 5. That's the thing. Multiple objects that you can create during the runtime, right? So any questions up to this point? Any questions? Right. So there's another example using multiple classes. You can also create an object of a class and access it in another class. All right. This is often used for better organization of classes. So we can organize our code and we can reuse the components, right? One class has all the attributes and methods, while the other class holds the main method. When the program executes the main method will be automatically called and you can do the logic. So, but that particular class doesn't have any internals attributes or methods. There is another class that you have the internals. Even though I mean like this program is organized like that, you can I mean like do all the necessary things because there are so much of concept called Java packages and likewise that, right? I will tell that later. So while the other classes for the main method code to be executed. Right. Up to this point, any questions? Any questions up to this point? So here in the same example, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another Java file. I'm just to showcase the example, right? I'm going to name it as other class. The example you have, what happened is I'm defining integer variable. That means attribute, and I'm having another attribute. right? So, but I'm not defining any other thing. So what happened is this newly created class, I'm not defining anything. And inside the my class Java, so I'm gonna comment this thing. So Java, when you have to comment, so you have to use two. This is forward slash, right? But make a forward slash two slashes. And what happened is you can even comment this particular code, make a code comment color. So you can read it, you can create the object of this other class, right? So what is the object name? Right. Now I do have two classes. They can become a folder calculator. So with this Java fundamental classes, they can convert, right? Just to showcase the example. But there's a concept in Java. I think C# programming call it namespaces. But Java you call it packages. Oh, you call it packages. So we are actually this is the folder that we are main folder එකේ Java කියන folder එකක් තියෙනවා. my class එක Java file එකේ තියෙන්නේ. මම ඒක visually පෙන්නුවොත් opening explorer. right මම ඉන්නේ user access ඒ කියන්නේ මගේ user profile එක ඇතුලේ මෙතන project එක හදලා තියෙන folder එක ඇතුලේ src main right මේ Java කියන එක ඇතුලේ තමයි මගේ Java file එක තියෙන්නේ right. So this particular thing, Java do have something known as access modifier. Okay, lesson access modifier. So public means the mode of access. Private means the other classes outside the same class, they cannot do anything in the particular class. So it's I will explain that when I do the practical thing. So likewise, the access modifiers define define which classes can access to the internal class of the, that is the simplest thing, right? So here, because I have all the Java classes inside the same folder, we call it a simply package, but we do have the package concept because inside that particular folder, we have a simple to Java class. So it actually as a package, the Java class they can communicate each other if we have the right access modifiers. Right? So because of that, I created another class inside that particular class and I defined some initial attributes and I changed the working. That means like I create a class called other class. I define two attributes and I have commented the previous code inside the main method. I created the object of that particular other class, right? Then I am accessing that particular object. Now, it's got a current file, right? That means I'm ready to my class, so I can run this application. Right, you can see it will be printed 10 and 20. All right, that's the thing. Any questions? Make a theory single explain karana. So just let me know. Module in the sense you are going to represent in the settings. Yeah, inside the package, access modifiers. You can correctly code. That's the thing, right? I will do the access modifiers later. Sarah will make a like that. Right? That is the internal path to have the correct access to the files. Right? They get sense. We are that busy. And right. So yeah, I do have like only 30 to 34 more minutes. So class attribute I have already explained. So class can have many instant variables and also methods, right? You can see message and method. Now we are moving into the we have immediately attributes. Now we are into the methods. Double OP uses message instead of function calls. It's additional programming call the operation and pass it the data to the operator. In C programming, you have functions or subroutines and subroutines, and what happens is when you are going to another function, you have arguments, and that particular receiving function, they call the receiving function, you have the parameters, right? For the operation and pass it the data to operate. In double loop programming, what happens is send the message to the object, the receiver of the message. They can no. The receiver get the message, find the matching method in the its class, and method code execute against the receiver. Right. Double loop people. So I mean, like in Java programming, in the previous example, object take amount my object good. I have formula, I mean, like particular variable, right? But a function, if I have a function or a method in that particular class, I need to call that particular method using the function name. The function name get dot followed by the method name. So that is called a message, right? So with that particular message, what happens is the receiver. The receiving class, it actually receives that particular message, and within that class, it will find the matching method code. Method code in its class, and method code executes again the receiver. The code executed that we call a particular message, right? So message I will explain with this method. The description of an operation. Java method we are calling it as a function of subroutine. Call in response to messages sent to a specific object. Object we are calling to these messages. Matching the message name to a method is called binding. Object method name is print here. This is the method name, and the class class. Let's say display here. Class display, and you have some instant variable, and here you have void print. So what happens is when you created the object of this display class through my object dot print. It will be called to this particular print method inside the display class. So that part is actually when calling this function. So this class actually matches the particular method signature. Signature here, the combination of the method name and this particular parameters, right? It's for the signature, it will match the signature, and that process is for the binding. Make class print method because you are calling to object, and that process is for the binding, right? So yeah, I'm going to showcase now. So my method is the name of the method. Static keyword. Static means that the method belongs to my class and not an object to my class. Void means that the method does not have a return value. You will learn about the return values later. Right. I'm going to showcase with the example. So if you have any question, please ask. Right. So here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to uncomment all these things. Sorry, I'm going to comment these previous logic. And what happened is I'm creating a method, right? As in the example, I'm going to use static. My method. Right. I'm going to here print something maybe. Right. So the same as this example, what I have done. So I have just created a method named as my method. That hi. my, my method is the name of the method that I just created. And I use the keyword static, right? Static means that method belongs to the my class and not object of the my class. Okay, explain that. So static keyword. Post name is static keyword in difference there. C. Again, static keyword. C will be static there. So static here is simple. You when you are making a program in Java, so if you are referring to this static keyword, you can define variables and the method with the static keyword. By doing so, you are telling that this particular object, this particular method or attributes is actually belong to the class itself. From a particular class, you can create multiple objects, right? And you know that by invoking through the object, I can access these attributes and the methods. So, but this particular, if you have used this static keyword, so, but if you are able to this static keyword, that means like it's act as a kind of like a global variable. They can let's say one particular can object can access to this static whatever the variable or method. It changes something. So what if you did that and after another time when another object is accessing, the value is changed. Static keyword right? So in order to use a particular static instant variable or methods, you need to call from us by sitting on the static context. ඒ කියන්නේ මේ static method එක use කරන්න නම් ඔයාට static method එකක් ඇතුලේ ඉන්න ඕන. Right? Maybe if I have a very simple explanation, I will tell it later. But now that's the thing, right? Static means that the method belongs to the class not an object. That means like it is shared among all the objects, right? මොකක් හරි object එකක් මේ static member වලින් static keyword එකෙන් define කරලා තියෙන variable or if it is some kind of method, if it manipulates that particular variable or a logic inside that particular method, what happens is that will be reflected among all the objects. සරලව කියනවනම් සරල මේක complex, so ඒක තමයි තේරුම, right? I'm sorry I can't explain that simply, but උදාහරණයක් එන්නේ අර car example එක වගේ maybe yeah. I will make sure to have a better example next week, maybe. So, void means that this method does not have a return value. Void can return right? So, yeah, this is the example that I have using. Instead of that, even I can use some real method without using this static keyword. Class category. Apart from defining, previously we have extended variable. Now we have defined a method, static void my method. Because we have static keyword, the method will be shared among all the objects that we are creating. If we create like 10,000 objects, make class again. And if we change the value in the particular method, maybe like to a one object, it will be reflected to all others, right? And because you don't have to worry about when you have like object or something, when you object-oriented programming, when you have a static method or something, you don't need to create a particular object to call for this method. So you just call it using the my method, right? That's the thing. And yeah, there are ways that you can create using the object, but simply you create it as in this example. So here you have the class and you have a method that they have defined here. And you have some attribute also inside the main method without creating an object. I'm calling because I have used the static keyword to that method and it will be filtered the value inside that particular method like hard, right? So yeah, call into a method and method call multiple times. You can do that. Message passing. Right. I think I haven't highlighted any of the examples apart from static. Right, I'm going to do a one. So up to this point, do you guys have any question? Do you guys have any questions up to this point? Any questions? Right. Right. So previously, I mean, like because I checked my slides also, I haven't used example apart from static. Actually, okay, I'm sorry for that. And because I think this example you will understand. Here I code the method. Here I code the method using the object, right? Method the class I have created the method public interface is access one by and integer. That means like I mean like a method the return type. This could be public attended static keyword become used but here method it could be integer, maybe like some other forms. If it is like a string values, I can just return, right? So like variable types, public, integer, calculator, whatever the method name. So I have two parameters that I am accepting, integer A and integer B, right? And I'm just going to because the return type is integer, I'm returning the value of this A and B. So here I created the object. Now the object created object name is object name. This asking the example is there. Object name is there. Within the class what is the object name? Object name is this asking what is the object name? What is the object name that I have created? Class example you might have object name. Example, right? This is the object name. When the method example it could be any name. Right, whatever. So what is the object object class name name but follow the name information equal sign new class followed by semicolon. Object right? This is called the object name. Object name make them be line by bulk method new keyword object that's the thing, right? Object name so I have an integer variable example dot calculate object name using this object name from code calculate function and pass it two arguments value 23 මේ B AB කියලා මෙතන ඇවිල්ලා තින්නේ නම් මේ ID එක හින්දා ඒක සරලව ඔයගලන්ට ලේසි වෙන මේ මම මෙච්චර ඩිෆයින් කරේ calculate මෙතනට එහෙම තිබ්බා මම හිතන්නකෝ මෙතන 40 50 කියලා දැම්මා මම දැන් මෙච්චරයි but ID key it will be automatically suggesting ඔයා refer කරන්නේ මේ method මේ class එකේ මේ method එක කියලා ඒ කියලා එහෙම automatically it suggests like that, right? So I'm passing that I'm assigning the value to the integers in the integer variables and I'm just printing the value. So that is the simple form of example for this object message passing. Then it will right. Any questions up to this point? Within the question the oh. Right, not even after March that we can have the to do this practically. But I will instruct the technical officers to install the Java and the IDE, so you can do that. Probably instruct the computer. So yeah, we can but we can resolve all the issues, right? Any questions? What about oh. I can find something and say, oh, I saw මම මෙතන use කරන්නේ ID එක. මේ ID එක automatically මට suggest කරනවා. මම example dot කියලා ගන්නවා. මට දෙන්නවා. එතකොට මේ උඩ තියෙන අදාළ attributes and methods, right? එතකොට දැන් මේ example dot මේ කතා කරේ අර method එකට. දැන් ඒ method එක මම ඉතින් කරන්නේ අපි කියන්නේ එතකොට මම සෙට් කරගන්නවා නම් ඉතින් මේක මම දැන් C කියලා. ඒක තමයි ක්ලික් කරන්නේ. Right. Right. So here a method called multiple times. May example එක මේ slide එකේ නෑ unfortunately මේ I'm recording this lecture using Zoom, so I will try to upload the latest again on the YouTube එකේ නම් තාලා මම upload කරන්න link එක. So you guys can refer to later. ඔය කන්නඩ yeah. මොනවද කරන්නේ? Right. So that is static method. Static mark को एक available किया है. So without using the object, you can call to a static method. And I just call 3 times, right? I just got executed and I just got executed them. That's all, right? Method can be called multiple times. Remember that thing. Message passing. In Java and C++, the syntax for sending messages look like appending the message to the desired receiver with the dot, right? Objects interact by passing the messages. Object එක තමයි අර object name එක followed by its dot. Whatever the name, it is the one who is handling the passing the messages. A message requests an object to perform operation or service එකක්. ඒ කියන්නේ මෙතන එක call කරනවා කියන කාරණා දෙකක්. Server is a complex software development project. I'm just invoking the operation or service. A message consists of name and any arguments. Name එකක් කිව්වේ ඒ කියන්නේ I can pass string values. මොකක් හරි string value එකක් පාවිච්චි කරලා variable එකට string value නමක් assign කරන්න පුළුවන්. or any arguments මොකක් හරි numbering value එකක්. Right? That's the thing. Parameters and argument. Right. So there's an example. Information can be passed to the methods as parameter. Parameters act as variable inside the method. Yeah. So that I won't be explaining because you have already familiar with the parameters in C. Parameters are specified after the method name, right? Within these parameters, you are parameters. Inside the parentheses, you can add as many as parameters you want. Just separate them with the comma. That's the thing. Parameters කොහොමද define කරන්න කියලා. Inside that my class එකේ static method එකක් තියෙනවා, right? I'm not declaring anything. And I have a parameter, string type parameter, string f name, right? So here we are in the inside the main function. I'm calling to that function my method and passing that particular because we make a string value there one string value within this double quotation mark. So mama method එක නේද කරගම අර නම f name කියන්නේ එතකොට here whatever after that will be printed. Right? So that is the difference between parameters and arguments. So these are the arguments, same as the C program, and that is for the parameters. Any questions? Multiple parameters, right? Previous example, I showcase you multiple example where integer variable dekak tibba. Here I have a string type variable and an integer type variable, right? I can even do that. So multiple examples, so multiple parameters. So I'm not going to showcase you the example for that. And return type. So likewise, the previous example, I have an integer method. Apart from going method, I can have an integer string, maybe like the it can be like the float type. It can be float equals value karane. So here I'm just printing the my method and I'm passing argument as free. That means that it will be syntax A, right? Because this is the return type and I'm returning the integer variable. Even without assigning, you can just print the value, right? So that is about the return type. Any question? මෙතනට වෙනකම් ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවද? Any questions up to this point? So encapsulation. Encapsulation refers to protecting the internals from an object from a direct manipulation by the client. From the outside an object can only be manipulated via its public interface. Right? The internal state is protected and can only be changed by the object itself. Supports information hiding. Yeah, can you have the example? Right. මේ example එක හොඳට බලන්න. So this is a simple Java program. I mean, like car.java. You have the class name as car, and you have two attributes: integer number and a string type variable. Right. So here you have the constructor. Now we construct in the what happened is constructor. What happened is constructors we are used to initialize the instant variable when we are just when the method syntax method constructor code when we are with the object the construction it will be initialized, and if we want to initialize the variable with some customized value we are using constructor. So and we have something known as access modifiers. One variable variable keyword දෙකක් දාලා private කියලා. ඒ private කියලා දාපු ගමන් වෙන්නේ දැන් හිතන්නකෝ කාර්යයක් දාලා file එකක් තියෙනවා. Right? කාර්යයක් දාලා file එකක් තියෙනවා. And previous example I showcased you I have another Java file. ඒ Java file එකේ මම මේ variable එකේ value එක print කරන්න try කරා. But if I define this as a private, like a private name variable is a private int modular, private string modular. If I did that, if I do that, what happens is the program, the ID itself will give me an error. They can matter name variable with access to the bad. Right? So the same example, car, in the particular car, you have the engine and internal working, you only leave the gas tank and but the thing is, I mean, like in this example, also you are just dealing with the I mean, like once this is becoming private, that means I mean, like the outer class, it cannot see the internal variables or the attributes of this particular other class. So what happens is, unless you have a public methods, a public methods, sorry, you can access to you can manipulate the variable value. So that means that you are hiding the internal workings. Again, attribute එකක් ඒ කියන්නේ මොකක් හරි ගති ලක්ෂණයක් ඔයාට කෙනෙක්ගේ ඒ කියන්නේ ඔයාට කෙනෙක්ගේ ගොඩක් දේවල් හඳුනන්න පුළුවන් ඒ කියන්නේ like secret කියලා කරන්නේ ඒ කියන්නේ සමානාස්කෘතික කිව්වේ වල් හරියට හිතන්නකෝ 25ක් නේ ඔයා ඒ කියන්නේ සමාන ගෑලරියක life structure internal working will be highlighted. Like I example එක වගේ I mean like unless if you are a mechanic, you don't want to know. You can want to දැනගන්න උවමනා වෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඒක තමයි මේ encapsulation කියන සරල වේ concept එකකින් කියන්නේ. So for the encapsulation, what we are doing is we are using private keyword to hide the internal workings of the particular class. ඒක තමයි සරලව කියන්නේ, right? I will showcase you with a practical example with more detailed explanation. Let's see we have the time or not, right? Encapsulation refers to protecting the internals of an object from the direct manipulation by the client. From the outside an object can only be manipulated via its public interfaces. The internal state is protected and can only be changed by the object. Support information hiding. Right? Right. Before moving that, constructors. An activity of creating an object given its class, the object's data structure must be initialized. Right. Whenever you are creating objects, you can construct a character mechanic. By default, the program have a constructor. Unless you are explicitly defining here, make them method. මම මේ program එක run කරලා මෙන්න මේ constructor කියන එක නැතුවද, right? But I can explicitly define this constructor. What happens is constructor එක කොහොමද හැදෙන්නේ? constructor එක හැදෙන්නේ class name එකත් එක්ක. class name එක my class නම් constructor name එක my class. You have the parentheses and within the brackets you can have any logic. Usually we are using this constructor to initialize this instant variables. The instant variable initialize करना, right? So in some programming languages, you know that if we are like not initializing the variable with a customized value, and if you are printing the value, it will be printing the default value, right? They can consider have you learned that thing? If you are not assigning the value, if you are not particularly assigning the value, and if you are printing that particular variable, what happens is it will be printing the default value. And if you are printing the variable, but you have actually forgotten to initialize the variable. You are not assigning the values, right? So what happens is if you are doing that, the value it will be printed as 1. If it is like a floating point value, it should be printed as 0.0, right? So there's something like that. Here what happens is you can use this constructor to initialize whatever the attributes of instance variable. Here, using the main method, you are creating an object. Main object create the constructor will be here. Make a method, but it is very special, right? And here you have the variable, you are assigning the value 5. And what happens is you are just printing the value. Main method. Main constructor right? You only have to what you have to notice or remember object this constructor will be automatically created, right? Method is access by default it will be the default access modifier, but I have I have yes public. You can have a data like this public my class. So you are assigning the instance variable and you are just printing. ඒකට මම ඔබ්ජෙක්ට් එකක් හදලා කිසිම දෙයකින්වත් කෝල් කරේ නැහැ static keyword එක I haven't used that. It is automatically created. I mean, like it is automatically invoked when I'm creating the object. That's the thing that you want to know. Activity of creating an object for a given class, the object data structure must be initialized, right? And for that particular constructor, you can have many parameters as you want. A constructor you have two instance variable like integer variable, string variable, and if you want a program to create if you want to assign some particular value to that attributes, like that, to the object, you can pass the value. New car. This constructor, they make a class name. When you are creating the object, new car. So within that, you can even pass values. May object create currently. I call it may constructor a coordinate. And to this constructor, even through the object, you can pass value. You are passing 96.9 and the mustard. So what happens is for the two variables, you are assigning this particular value that you are receiving through this object. At the moment that you are creating the object, that's the thing. Now after that, you are just printing the my hardware model here and value it will be printed 969 and mustard. Right? That is the thing. Any questions after this point? Any questions? This constructor, they have a very special behavior and they are actually supposed to initialize the instant variable, right? And constructor will be created at the moment when we are creating the object, and even at the moment that we are creating the object, we can pass the values to the constructor. Normally, constructor name is the class name. We can define the access modifier like public. Constructor can be private, but like something else. And otherwise, normally we get car. So, any questions after this point? Any questions? Hari, I think so next week I will showcase a practical example for encapsulation, and there are some inheritance, polymorphism, abstract classes, interfaces, and association. So some concepts you have to learn. After that, maybe on the following day you can learn when go to the UML. I mean like UML only, right? So before moving in, abstractions. Abstractions separate the essential from the full detail. Classes represent the abstractions. They provide a selective and simplified view of concept being represented as object. In the double logic concept, right? In double logic concepts, right? We have the classes and we have the objects. So what happened is, would be a class getting, I have some common methods and the common attributes, right? But when it's from the banana, I have some specific attributes and the methods. Normal, we have the normal class. We do have only some common attributes and common methods. But when it's come to some other version of class, so they will have some specific methods, right? So classes, abstraction, abstraction here. So it actually separates the essential from the full detail. Abstract class. So it's like only highlighted only the necessary information. After the overview class, but we can go even in detail, right? So classes represent abstraction. They provide a selective and simplified view of the concept being represented as object. Class abstract there, right? And objects, they become more descriptive. Objects have separate, separate internal working, they have separate attributes and they have separate methods, so much of things, right? But classes and these objects, it's something that is called abstraction. And here, remember, there are in developing program, there's a concept of abstract classes. Developing, we have abstract classes and we have something known as interfaces. All right, you will be learning that in the next week. So, but when it comes to this developing programming, I mean like object-oriented programming, when it comes to classes and the objects, so we can see this abstraction, right? That is from the very beginning level. And lastly, about the access modifiers. So this access modifiers actually controls the access level. For classes, you can use either public. Class access modifier, you can either use public or default. Default क्या है? The class display class display, I have parameters here, right? I don't have any keyword, right? So I doesn't have any keyword like public or there is like a default, right? A keyword I mean that by default, by system default, it is become the default keyword. A default keyword actually you can define otherwise you can define this as public. Default keyword keyword explicit we don't have to define that, but remember using the default default keyword the code is only accessible in the same package. This is used when you don't have a specifier modifier. So likewise that if you have a defined any access modifier, by default it will be taken the default access modifier, and this is how the access is defined, right? For classes, you can see the public or default. The class is only accessible by class is the same case. This is when you don't have a specific modifier. Public, the class is accessible by any other class. That means like if you define this class as a public, as the same example, if you get a class class access so the remaining thing default and you have private and also protected. So I will showcase with the practical example. So I will do that next page. So I'm going to showcase you how to create a package and how to access the package by sitting on outside the package and to access the internal class. So I will do that next week. So yeah. Any questions up to this point? Any questions up to this point? I have already uploaded the lecture with the LMS, also how to set up this Java environment. And yeah, I will upload that for you later. Any questions? So, you guys have no questions, you guys can deliver. And make sure you have that please, right? Go please. And today practicals the whatever the utility I did project, I will also upload as a as well, right?